Yeah, Vivek. Just wanted to confirm about cloud testing. What exactly you want in cloud testing? See, if you want to perform testing for particular, okay, server load is right. Okay, see, what happens is if you individually or specifically if you talk about the testing part in cloud for the instances or any application, let it be anything, any one of them, or both of them for an instance. What you can do is you have several built-in cloud methods, built-in testing methods, which will basically allow you to perform these kind of tests. If you want to check the virtual machine and the overall performance and all, Azure provides the basic approach. Once we create the virtual machine, at that time I'll show you. Okay, by default it gives you some sort of information, not detailed one, but overall yes, it gives the information. But if you want to check the detailed information like last year or something like that, then we have something called as log analytics in Azure, which basically uses the analytical tools, workspaces, which will basically allow you to run the query to find out, to fetch out the performance related to an application or an instance, anything. Okay, so it whatever we have discussed about the load balancer and all, you might find a sort of drop down in the chart, but overall it is not gonna impact the entire application. If you are individually talking about the MS Word diagram, sorry, paint diagram that we have discussed. Okay, so I'm talking in terms of both the things. In terms of testing, it can be done individually. In terms of the diagram, yes, there will be a slight drop, but it is not going to impact too much of the things within the environment, because that is the main concern of implementing the availability set. I don't want my application to go down. I don't want the the downtime. That is the reason we are paying more to work with the availability set. So remember these particular things. Now, next is virtualized data center. So basically, this is how all the data center works. Okay, whatever you have seen here in the diagram, you take this entire diagram of type 1 and put it for Microsoft Azure, it is gonna give you something like this only. Azure is also doing the same thing. They have their own physical servers. On top of that, they are running Hyper-V because it's their own product, so they have to use that only. Then they are running with multiple virtual machines, and these virtual machines will be having their own virtual applications in them. And that is how basically it works out. Okay, when you talk about how you can connect to it, so there are different methods with which will allow you to connect to your cloud. Okay, one approach to connect to your cloud is the simple web browser. Okay, you can use a simple web browser console to work with it. Open web browser, type www.portal.azure.com and you log in over there. Second is you can use the PowerShell. if you install the module called AZ on PowerShell, it will allow you to log in to your machine using command line mode. Let me show you how it works out. So I will open PowerShell on my computer. Currently, I'm working on PowerShell version 7, I think. No, 6. Sorry, 5.1. Let's check. It's been a long time I have taken PowerShell. Yeah, it is 5.1. Even 7 is there if you check this PWSH dollar PS version table. You can see I'm using version 5 and 7 parallelly. So you can use any one of them. It's not a problem. Okay. So if you use the command here called connect-az account, this module AZ is already installed on my computer. So that is the reason it is available for you big in the beginning first time. It will give you an error because you might have not installed the module yet. So when you do that, hit enter, wait for it. And there you go. See, here's my mail ID already popping up. But if you want, you can simply use your own credentials and then you can simply log into it. Once I get logged in, I will be getting the data or details over here. OK, you can see here MSDN platform. That's my mail ID. That's my tenant ID. So I can now perform anything and everything that I want from this particular command line only. So I don't even have to log into this particular portal every time and then do the job. I can directly spin my PowerShell scripts from here itself. OK, so just to show an example on my desktop, C user disk, where is that? OK, admin desktop. OK, it's not on this desktop. It is in. I have a script here, PSL script. You can see there's a script which I have created here, LTI environment PS script so and so. So what this particular script does is basically it creates, I generally take trainings for LTI, and for them, basically I have to redeploy one specific environment every time there is a training. So what generally I do, or what I have done, I've taken all the details, whatever is required, put it under one single LTI env PS script file, and I have to just run this entirely. And what will happen, it will create the resources directly over here. It will create the resources directly over here. That is the advantage of using the command line. So you don't have to sit and then do the job manually one by one. One single script can do the entire job for me. So this is another way how you can connect to your Azure portal and then deal with it, work with it. Third is Cloud Shell. If you want to connect with your Azure, okay, it is a CLI method, okay, CLI approach. This is also a CLI approach. If you want to connect with your cloud, your Azure portal, but you don't have this PowerShell available, okay, or the modules. Just now I told you that if the module is not available, you will be getting the error. CLI is command line interface, right? So Azure basically gives you the option. You can directly go over here. Let me magnify. You can see this command prompt type thing. If I do this, It's written here as Cloud Shell. So if I click on this particular prompt, what will happen? You can see you have no storage mounted. Azure Cloud Shell requires an Azure file shared to persist files. So I'll just click on create storage. And what this will do, it will automatically create a command line environment for me on the web browser itself. So all the problems that you might face while running the commands and everything can be resolved over this black area, this entire area only. And the beauty here is, doesn't matter you are from Linux background or PowerShell background, both can do the programming on this portal. Here you can see on top it's written PowerShell. If I click on this PowerShell, I have the bash, which is a shell in Linux, born again shell. So either I can, if I'm a Windows guy, I can go for PowerShell. If I'm a Linux guy, I can go for bash shell. Right now it is authenticating. Let it get authenticated. There we go. ps/home user and then the username. I'll click here on bash and confirm, and it changes from PowerShell to shell script. See, this is the beauty of Cloud Shell. No additional installs required. You don't have to install any module or anything. Okay, because you might be using company laptop. Companies will not directly allow you to run the PowerShell module. You might have to take the admin access and then deal with it. Meanwhile, what to do? Should we waste our time? Instead of that, just launch the Cloud Shell. It is free of cost. The only problem is you should be knowing the commands to deal with it. Okay, rest everything is okay over here. Now you write the command and you can simply go ahead and deal with the entire part in the command line manner. This is the another way. So these are the three different ways. One more way is AWS, what I'm saying, Azure CLI. This itself is an individual software. It is an individual software that you have to install on your machine and then basically it works out, which is basically similar to PowerShell only. So we generally don't deal with or work with this Azure CLI. These three are more than sufficient for your usage. You can use any one of them and then simply you can basically work with your Azure portal in much simpler manner. Okay, so you can use any of the console client side points, any one of them. All the three are written over here. Let me do one thing. Let me take it and I will just add some details over here. No, it's disturbing the view. Okay, I'll mention it in the file which I will be sharing with you. In that, I'll write down all the notes and everything. I'll provide it over there. Okay. So as of now, I hope you have understood why cloud computing is the better option for you. Still, if it is not clear, here we have few points like highly scalable and flexible. Scalability, theoretically, we have seen it. Practically, just wait for some more time and directly we will jump onto the practicals. Low cost solutions, we already spoke about that. If you commit to Azure that you are gonna sit here for a long time, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and so on, then they will give you heavy discounts on that. If you bring your own license in that also, additionally, you will be getting 49% of discount. So overall, it is a win-win situation for us. Faster and secure. So the overall speed inside the Azure components is very fast. Okay. You might have a slower machine, slower internet connectivity. So on your end, the things will load pretty slow. But on Azure portal, the overall networking speed is in GB. GBps. We talk about 10 Mbps, 20 Mbps, 300 Mbps. In Azure, we have in GBps internet speed. So it is very fast and secure as well. Even for login, security is required. If you don't have the credential, you'll not be able to log in. Even if you have the credential, you don't have the proper permissions, then you'll not be able to access that. Plus, it is globally accessible. I have installed Azure app on my mobile phone. So if I want to manage something, like generally it happens that after finishing uh, a session, I generally forget to uh, destroy or delete the virtual machines, which is ultimately costing me only. So from my mobile also I can log in and then I can work with it. Doesn't matter you created the virtual machine from India, you are in US, from there also you can access the same and deal with it. And also Azure keeps the track of each and every person who is actually logging into the machine. From which physical location you have logged in, even that is captured within the Azure portal. Let me show you how or where exactly it is. So if I go to Azure Active Directory, here I have the option sign in. Where is that? Yeah, sign in logs. Right now, for last 24 hours, you can see here. Now, my base location, my current location is Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. You can check this out. Even if it is showing the exact IP, public IP from where I have accessed it. If I change the access to last, maybe custom days, it gives last 7 days maximum. So let's check that. Actually, I have not logged in from a very long time. Okay, but you can see here, I'm getting the actual IP address over here, even the location. So I like this, I can physically verify from which location the user has logged in. Because of all these things, you don't have to manage so many unnecessary things. You can be more productive. Use custom. Sorry, what is that in the chat? Use custom. Please elaborate. Guys, don't write one word answer, one word questions. Okay. Use custom date. Even if I select the custom date, it is gonna go for maximum of 7 days only, because I am using the basic subscription version right now. If I purchase the P2 or P1 version, then I can have tons of queries over there. It is hybrid model as well. It supports hybrid model. So if you have your databases, your storage on premises, you don't want to transfer it on cloud, and still you want to use the cloud computing capabilities. So even that can be done directly over here using the hybrid model. We have intelligent. It is intelligent. It is knowing that what exactly you are trying to do. So you can always make sure that how things are basically happening over here. Okay. Then I will switch to one core important thing. So this is something which I should be talking in the beginning itself, but let's talk about that right now. Cloud service model, infrastructure as a service, platform, and software as a service. So basically, when the cloud was introduced, they were talking about these three itself. Okay. But later on, as cloud has grown, eventually they came up with few more services like identity as a service, network as a service, load balancer as a service, firewall as a service, network as a, or what is that? Load balancer, network, firewall, on database. So anything that you imagine now is available as a service within the cloud model. Okay, which is actually a very good point for us when you work in terms when you talk in terms of production environment. So to understand the infrastructure as PaaS SaaS properly, I have taken a diagram over here. Identity means the what do you say? You are working as an employee of some company. What is the proof of it? So you will be having the ID card and the employee ID. These authenticates that yes, you are the authenticated person associated with this particular company. So that mail ID and the employee ID is actually the identification for you. In the same way, identity is required. No, I'm talking in that cloud terms only. In cloud, identity services means that a particular person. Now, see here what happens. Let me show you in my cloud over here, my account. If you look at this particular, this is my mail ID with which I have created my Azure account. But if I hover my mouse over here, it's quite big. Hold on. Huh. If I hover my mouse over here, you can see in the last it is showing a domain. A domain is like a company name. What I did basically, I purchased a domain called jitusingh.in and I have attached it over here. In the same way, even your companies, Microsoft.com, they purchase the domain, they can attach it over here. Accenture.com, they can purchase it, they have their own domain, they can attach it over here. Nokia.com, they have their own domain, they can attach it over here. Now, what is the advantage of attaching a domain in this particular approach? Basically, here, if I go ahead and create a user, check this out. I'll go for new user, creating new user over here. I'll give something like Joker. Joker is one of my favorite character. But can you see at the rate, automatically it is showing here g2sync.in automatically. If I copy this to my clipboard and paste it over here, see automatically what happened? Username at the rate my domain name popped up. What about you guys? You guys have not purchased any domain. Then what will happen, Jitu? So it will be giving you the default name. So username at the rate with which mail ID you have created your own account. The ID which I have used is jitusingh.in5591 at the rate hotmail.com. So Microsoft used till this particular point, till Hotmail, and later on they have added their own default domain for you, which is on Microsoft.com. So even if you don't have a domain, still you will be able to create a user. That's how the identities are created within the Azure portal. Okay, so these identities can be secured either by username and password or by enabling the MFA also. MFA is multi-factor authentication, username, password, and one-time OTP like that. Okay, is it possible to merge services of different providers and make our own environment? Uh, Overall, if I say limited number of services can be only integrated, not everything. If you want to do that, let me give you a very quick answer over here. If you actually want to launch your own, this is apart from Azure, you want to have your own cloud services. Okay, and you already own, this is star conditions apply. If you already own hardware, then you can use something called as OpenStack. You can use OpenStack, which is a free cloud. You have to install, it is a Linux based cloud. So what you have to do on that hardware, which is owned by you, you can install Linux operating system, either CentOS or Ubuntu. And then on top of that, you can configure OpenStack. Once it is configured, then you can start giving services to other people and you can integrate multiple vendors also on full-fledged environment. If you don't have any hardware, you don't own anything, then in that case, you have to find out some way to basically integrate whatever exactly you're looking for. Like virtual machines, yes, it can be called from other environment over here. It can be called. If I go to not virtual machine scale set, if I go to virtual machine create, see this. I have Azure virtual machine. So basically what it does, create a virtual machine with preset. So you have to load the preset over here. Ignore that. Azure Arc virtual machine creates in one of the non-Azure environment. So dedicatedly, if I talk about the virtual machine itself, you can use the Azure Arc over here. Then Azure VMware Solutions, if you are create VMware virtual machine hosted by Azure. So from Azure, what you're doing, you are implementing your VM on VMware environment. So there are several things that can be done, not everything. Okay, so depending upon the requirement, you have to understand and then decide what you want to migrate or import or export from other non-Azure environment. Now, to understand infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, now I have opened in front of you pizza as a service. We are nearly moving towards the end of the weekend. I mean, nearly we are reaching the weekend. So let's talk about some pizza. And I hope you already had your lunch. So please focus over here. Don't open any apps and start ordering some pizzas right now. So when you talk about the simple pizza as a service, there are four different ways how you can have it. Okay. There are basically four different manners or ways how you can have your pizza. Okay. So one is homemade, made at home means you have to like whatever you can buy, or if you know how to prepare it, you can do everything. Cheese, toppings, tomato, sauce, pizza dough, fire, oven, electric, soda, and dining. You have to manage everything from bottom to top. You have to manage everything over here. You need to collect from here and there, and then you need to basically deal with it. So homemade, you will be managing a lot of things over here right now. Then we generally don't go for homemade pizza. Okay. We we can go for the partial part, that is take and bake. Some of the things you buy it from your grocery store, and some of the things you already have at your home. Okay. So cheese, topping, pizza, tomato, pizza dough, and tomato sauce, you'll buy it from any of the nearest grocery store. Remaining dining table, sodas, and all those things, it might be already there at your home. Okay, so only this much you have to manage. This is you can purchase directly. Then we have pizza delivered. Most of us do that only. So in that condition, you only have to manage dining table and soda. Sorry, the pizza companies do not deliver the dining table with pizza. So you have to manage that. Okay. Sodas, yes, you can order that. Otherwise, generally it will be there in your fridges right now. Remaining thing will be taken care by the company itself. You don't have to deal with that. You have to just order it, pay for it, and sit for 30 minutes, you will get it. Then finally, then the last one is dine out. In dine out, what happens? You just pay. Remaining, everything will be taken care by that particular restaurant itself. You go over there, they will have a table already. You have to just order it, whatever you want, and then remaining things will be taken care by them only. You just pay for whatever you have used. Okay. This is a simple example. Now I'm going to compare this example with the next part, that is this one. So here you can see when you talk about your own infrastructure, your on-premises infrastructure, okay, what you have to manage. You have to manage the networking of your environment. You want class A in your environment, class B IP address, class C IP address, and everything. Storage. You want Dell storage or SAN or whatever storage you want. You need to manage the servers. First of all, which server you want to buy, which model, which category, everything you need to manage. Virtualization, you want type 1 or type 2 virtualization. Operating system, it should be Windows or Linux. In Windows, it should be client operating system or server operating system. In server also, it should be 12, 12R2, 16, 19, 22, which one you want. Middleware, runtime, data, and application will be completely managed by you only. You will manage that. You are responsible for managing anything and everything that falls in this particular list in blue color. Okay, so that is what you have to understand. Now, when it comes to the infrastructure as a service, in infrastructure as a service, you have to manage but few things only. Meaning, you will not be managing the networking, storage, servers, or virtualization. This all will be managed by the vendor, either Azure or AWS, whatsoever you are using. Okay, so you have to manage this entire section, either application, not either application, data, runtime, middleware and operating system. So these application and its own, what do you say, dependencies, you have to manage everything. When it comes to the platform as a service, you just need to take care of the application and the data on which you're gonna write, or the application code, basically. Remaining everything will be taken care by the vendor itself. You want a PHP environment. You just select PHP and build up the entire environment. You want Node.js environment. Select Node.js and build up the environment and just start writing or pushing the PHP code or Perl code or whatever code you want. Then you talk about the software as a service. You don't have to manage anything in this entire suite, in this entire list, stack, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to manage anything. You just have to remember that you have to write the data. That's it. You have to type it. If you're doing that, you have to manage only the overall part. Nothing physically you have to manage over here, because everything will be managed by the vendor in this particular case. So you need to understand what exactly you are looking for, which service you want, and then you need to deal with it. I'll take a simple example. I need to host a website. I need to host a simple static website. Now, this can be done either on the this on-premises part, this entire part. But now I need everything over here from top to bottom. I need everything. So let's cancel this. Let's take another example that I want to use it on the infrastructure as a service. So now I need to just run one virtual machine, and then on top of that, I will install IIS web server if it is a Windows machine. But still, this is gonna take much time. Instead, what I can do, I can use the platform as a service called App Service, Azure App Service, and that will basically allow me to host my own website on the go. Means really in very simple steps, I will be able to launch my website over here within very few steps. And then I just have to manage my data, what data I want to represent over there on my website. I'll show you this an example in a while. Just give me a few minutes. I'll do that. Then next is cloud computing models. So basically there are cloud deployment models are available. One is the private cloud, okay, which is used by one organization only. You are from organization X. So people from organization Y will not be able to use X. Our company provide PaaS or SaaS? You're asking the question or you're telling the question? I'm not sure whether you are asking or telling. Please be specific. Acha, asking. That you have to look into your company's offerings, and then you need to decide what exactly they are doing. Okay. I am not from your organization, so I cannot completely answer that. But if you look at the company's offerings, you will get to know either it is a SaaS or a PaaS. Okay. If your company doesn't allow user to do anything, just manage the data, nothing else, means just manage the application and nothing else. So it is a SaaS. And then if they are asking you to provide some details, manage few specific data, then it will come into the PaaS model. You need to go through your company website, and then from there, either you can ask them or you can simply go to the company's offering in the company offering side in the website, and then you can analyze whether it is a PaaS based or SaaS based. Possibly, I assume that most of the companies just go for the PaaS part itself. In the SaaS, they generally target very limited number of clients. Okay, so there will be a SaaS solution, but not for you guys, but for the client side. For clients, your company might be giving the SaaS solutions. Okay. So here we are next talking about the private cloud. Private cloud, as name says, it will be accessible only within the company. Like for example, if I have a company here, okay, this is a company A, and it is having 10 employees within this particular company. So only employees of this company A, these 10 employees will be able to access that particular cloud. This is the example of private cloud. Okay, you can only access the data of your organization. Even if I want, I can't do that. Okay. The next is public. So as name says, it is publicly available for everyone. So here AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, VMware, all these comes under the public cloud only. Means you have your own identity, username and password, and then you can simply log in to these public clouds and then work with it. In this entire workshop, multiple company people have joined. Okay, company A, B, C. You all will be creating your account under Azure. So that is basically an example of public cloud. Then we have the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is basically the combination of public and private both. Okay, how basically it works out. How basically it works out. So assume that there will be two organization A and the other one is organization B. Okay, there are two organizations. Okay, or you can say this as A is basically Azure. Okay, and then you have your organization B. So now what you have to do is you will be having the database. Database looks something like this over here. Okay, this is my database. So here my virtual machine will be available. This VM will have the connectivity to this database. And now how it is getting connected? Either it can be connected a secured VPN, or it can be connected through something called as direct connect. Okay. Or it can be through some sort of gateway, anything, but it is connected to your on-premises database. This entire part, this entire cloud, which includes the public and private cloud, will be basically called as hybrid cloud. I know my handwriting is very good. Please bear with that. So here we have the hybrid cloud connectivity. Okay. So here you have to make sure that if you are working on the hybrid model, some of your resources will be connected, Azure or cloud resources will be connected to your on-premises resources. Okay. So that comes under the hybrid cloud. And finally, we have the community cloud. So basically, these community clouds are specific clouds only. Okay, which is uh, shared by, or which is accessed by the specific communities only, like the Gov cloud. There's something there's something called as Gov cloud. Okay, here Gov cloud. Gov cloud represents the government entities only. If you are government official, then only you will be able to allowed to log into this cloud. US uses this Gov cloud a lot. All the US officials, not only US, but some Indian officials will be having their own Indian cloud. Can you log into raw database and check like how it shows in movies? Obviously, no. Okay. So if you are the government entity, if you have the government access, then only you will be able to, and obviously if your department is using the Gov cloud, then only you will be able to allowed to log in over here, otherwise no. So generally these are the three different major categories in the production where you will be working a lot. Either it is going to be private cloud. By the way, for private cloud, we have the Microsoft suite. Okay. Then we have the OpenStack also comes under the private cloud. We have public cloud as Azure and AWS, Google Cloud as well. Hybrid, Azure, AWS both can be integrated with multiple on-premises infrastructures. So even hybrid can be done under the Azure and AWS. You can use any one of them to basically deal with the hybrid cloud connectivity. So benefits, as of now, I think we have talked too much about the cloud computing. I'll just go through the bullet points. Cost, it is quite cheap overall because you don't have to manage any hardware or software or on-premises data. So ultimately it becomes cheap. Global scale, okay. Globally, it is accessible and scalable. Performance, the latency is very less because what we are doing, we are creating the uh, resources nearer to the client only. Okay, I don't have to establish the entire physical data center. I can just go ahead and spin my resources nearest to the client. Speed, so overall it is quite fast. Productivity, so no rack, no stacks are there, no hardware setup is there. Patching is there, but you don't have to do it on very regular basis. So overall, the productivity is higher. Reliability, the data backup, easy, cheap, DR, and redundant. So it provides all these heavy workload things. Because of that, it is more reliable. You have easily backup data backup. TR is your disaster recovery, so you can plan and basically deal with it. You can take the backup of one virtual machine or hundreds of virtual machines altogether, files and folders and NTFS file system and XFS file system, everything can be backed up over here. And you can then also implement the redundancy of your data also. So overall, it is more reliable. So cloud adoption, this is the image which I have got yesterday only from internet. So you can see Azure vibe, or you can see this much running significant workload. 47% clients are running significant workloads, running some workload, experimenting, plan to use. Only 4% people are planning to use the Azure out of 100% productions. And similarly with the AWS as well. Okay, so these kind of datas are globally available. You can go to Google and search for cloud adoption percentage, and you will get lots of websites which give you something like this as well. Okay, so yearly this number is keep on like this number is continuously growing. Last year this number was somewhere around 55, 54%. This time it is 59. So overall it is fine. How people are using and moving towards the cloud, it is completely okay. But soon we are expecting the number will increase much higher. Let's see what happens. Cloud vendors. So we have OpenStack available, we have IBM, we have VMware, we have Rackspace, we have Google Cloud. How can I miss AWS? AWS is not there. And then we have Azure over here. This is the Azure logo. Okay, so these are the multiple cloud vendors which are available, which you can use, and you can simply work on any of them. Almost they have their own what do you say, options to create account and then simply deal with it. You have to go through. It's just like creating a Facebook account. Okay, some additional plus and minus steps will be there. Azure is straight away forward, very simple. OpenStack installation is very critical. One thing goes wrong and the entire uh, installation fails over here. You have to start everything again. It is quite unstable. VMware, it is very stable. Azure is very stable. Google Cloud, AWS is very stable. So you need to think that what exactly you want, and then you need to simply play around with it. So now specifically about Azure, so we have seen global. I told you that globally it is available. So you can see 60 plus region worldwide and 140 countries. It is having in 140 countries, the data centers are available, and still they are building more and more data centers globally. So these things practically I'll show you. Okay, I'm ignoring it for now. Core services. This is the last theoretical important part, and then we can practically start working on it. So there are four major components or core services by any cloud, specifically when I talk about Azure. So one is the compute. So in compute, we have virtual machine, app service, containers, Kubernetes, functions, and virtual desktops. This is the these are the things which comes under the compute category. There are more, but I cannot write all of them. If I talk about individual services like this virtual machine, there are more than 3,000 individual services. So I cannot write all of them. So I've just written few of them over here. Then talking about the networking. So we have Azure Network, Express Route, VPN, Load Balancer, DNS, Bastion, peering, firewall, and so on. Third is the storage part. So we have blob, binary large object, file queues, tables, Azure Disk, and so on. Then we have several databases available. You have Azure SQL, Cosmos database for Postgres, MariaDB, MySQL, Redis, and Apache Cassandra. So we have a complete huge variety of services that can be simply used within the Azure, and then you can implement any of them. Now, each service is having their own pros and cons. So for the fundamentals on which we are working, you don't have to completely, you don't have to know each and every service in depth. But yeah, when you talk about the detailed structure in the next examination 104, which is the Azure Administrator, there you might have to go through some of the services in depth. Okay, so just be careful about these particular things for which certification you are preparing, and then based on that, you need to deal with it. For AZ900, the core services you should be knowing, and some of the names of the core services you should be knowing, not more than that. So support plans, this is important thing. So basically, if you are having the free tier eligibility, you can simply say that you will be having the basic support plan. In basic support plan, what generally happens is few things are free of cost. Okay, if like for example something went wrong and then you want to uh, contact Microsoft, that you're not understanding why this much amount is generated and all those things, then in that way you can simply create a basic support request, and either on email or quick chat support they will contact you. Apart from that, you have these three paid services: 29 USD per month, which is a developer support, 100 USD per month, which is a standard purchase, and then you have the professional direct, which is 1000 USD per month. You can imagine. Okay. So you need to take care of these support plans. Like how exactly we are gonna contact Microsoft if we are not, if we are having any problem, how we will do that? So if you want to contact Microsoft, open this entire portal. So here on the left bottom corner, you can go through help and support. If you don't find it over here, no problem. Here in the quick search, you can type help, and then you will get the help and support over here. So either you can click here. If it is not there, you can click here. Click on this. You can see here, create a support request, choose the right support plan. So I'll go for create. Okay, let's first choose the right support plan. So you can see subscription. I only have one subscription. Check this out. It is the basic one. Developer, I'll just have to create this, and where it will be used for trial and non-production environment. 24/7 access. Then standard, so you can read all these things over here properly. $29 per month, 100 and $1000 per month. So they will tell you what exactly they are offering, and then based on that, you need to deal with it. Free tier, it is just billing and subscription. 24/7 access is there, full set of advisor, and access to personalized health. Only these four things are available. Technical support, who can open cases and all those things, nothing is there over here. And it is free. Now if I go back, choose a support request. So here I have to declare or define the entire problem, that what exactly the problem is. Most of the time here only, before submitting the request, you will get your solution. Microsoft has built the solution in such a way that you don't have to reach to the bottom, to the end to get the solution. Like for example, I'll give something like PM issue. I'm just randomly typing so that I can see some sort of recommendations over here. I'll go for, nay, let's take billing issue. And let's go for this one. Okay. Subscription is this only. Select a problem type. Now here only it is giving me, say, these many things. So I can simply go for unexpected charges. Problem subtype. I'm still, help me understanding free trial charges. Let's go for this one. And next. So here now what it is doing in the backend, whatever you have submitted in the problem description, it is fetching the information, standard information based on whatever data you have given over here. Okay, check this. Troubleshoot, known, unknown, expect. So what I have written, it is simply basically available over here. Okay, so you can simply go for these kind of problems. If I go back, if you still do not get what exactly you're looking for, go for next. Give some additional details when the problem started, your subscription ID, your voice, invoice, and other things. How you want to get contacted, either on mail or phone number. And then you can simply next and save it. That's it. So depending upon the subscription that you are using, the plan that you are using, Microsoft guys will contact you. And then you can simply get the clarity of whatever problem you are having. Okay, so this is what you should be knowing. Last thing about the presentation is the service life cycle. So basically, when you talk about the service life cycle, you will have these three things into the consideration. Now see what exactly service life cycle is. All the services which are available in Azure, let it be virtual machine, let it be network, let it be storage, let it be any XYZ service. All the services are following, or any upcoming new service also, they all are following a specific path or the method because of which they come into existence. That is, first the development phase will be there, then the preview, then general availability. And in the general availability, finally, you will get the particular product over here. But how, if I break it down into pieces, what exactly happens over here? So first is your development phase. In this development phase, the information will be gathered that what the customer is looking for. Like for example, a SQL database. It's already there, but I'm just taking an example. The customer wants there should be a SQL database available, or customer wants auto scaling, virtual machine scale set should be there. So what all things are required will be gathered in this particular phase. And then people, the developers of Microsoft will develop it. Once it is developed, they will not directly throw at you. They will not throw the entire technology at you that, okay, this is what we have done and start using it. No, it's not like that. It goes to the next stage, that is public preview. In Azure, you will find so many services where in the bracket preview will be written. What that preview represents, that the particular service is in beta mode. It is in beta stage. Okay, it is still under development. Now in this particular stage, what generally happens is either it will be implemented or it will not be implemented. It's not guaranteed. It is in the testing phase right now. So they ask customer to basically do the trial and testing part. You do the testing job on your side. Once you are satisfied, you give the feedback. If you're not satisfied, then also you give the feedback that I want so and so things. Individually, they will not focus on all the client, but cumulative, like 100 or 1,000 people are saying that, okay, I want the save button on this particular feature. If more number of people are asking that, then it will be implemented over there. If only one person and 1 million customers are asking, obviously it will be ignored. Okay, so whatever things are required will be collected as a feedback in this particular preview stage. Once everything is done, then it goes in the general availability stage. This is the final stage, which will be having the complete fully functional service available in your environment, and then you can simply start working on that. Remember one thing, any service or any implementation you are doing under the public review, it is not recommended for the production. If the particular service comes under general availability or also called as GA, if any service comes under GA, then only you should be able to, or you should implement it on the production environment. Because I told you, public preview is in beta. That service might be implemented, might not be implemented also. Okay, so remember this particular thing. So that's all. Okay, that is all regarding the theoretical part. So I just want to ask you few questions. If you have any questions, you can start throwing at me. Otherwise, we can jump on to the practicals now. Whatever we have done, whatever we have covered, guys, whatever questions you have based on that, please ask the questions and then we will move on to the next practicals. Practicals, I will be starting completely from scratch. So please pay attention over there as well. Any questions? Okay, one person to know. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Now, before we actually start working on Azure, let me discuss few important terms, few important uh, words that you will be hearing a lot in Microsoft Azure portal. Okay. Now, PPTs are done, presentation, I'm done with it. Okay. So now what I will do, I'll draw. Okay. Maybe some of you are from Windows environment. Okay. So this is gonna be my Azure Active Directory. I hope you are aware of what Active Directory is. If not, it is a logical boundary of your organization. With whichever organization you belong to, it will be having some logical boundaries. Okay. That is called as Active Directory. In Azure, the same thing is basically called as Azure Active Directory, also known as AAD, Azure Active Directory in shortcut, in short form. Okay. Now, in this Azure Active Directory, the very first thing you need is a subscription. You need a subscription. Without subscription, you cannot, again, I'm repeating, without subscription, you cannot create anything within Azure. It is so important. Like a body without soul is useless. Same way, the Azure portal is useless without a subscription. Okay, so subscription is mandatory in Azure. In AWS, there is no concept directly, there is no concept of subscription. But here in Azure, you have to remember that you need a subscription. Now, when you talk about subscription, there are a few things that you can use, like there is something called as free trial, which will be valid only for 30 days. Then you have your pay as you go. Okay, this is after 30 days if you plan to continue working on Azure. In this, what will happen? Whatever you do will be charged. In free trial, what happens is you will be getting a free trial of 30 days or you'll be getting 13,300 rupees. Okay, you can't do any shopping with that. Don't worry. Only the Azure resources can be purchased from this amount. So if anything, either 30 days exhausted first or this amount, your free trial will be disabled automatically. then you have to convert it manually to pay as you go. In pay as you go, what will happen? You will be charged only for whatever you are utilizing. Then there is something called as P1. You can say P1 subscription. Okay. And then there is something called as P2 subscription. These subscriptions are very advanced. Big organizations utilizes this P1 and P2 subscriptions, but generally for testing and all, it is not recommended. And you can't even buy it also directly. You can buy it, but there will be, sorry, additional charges implemented on your account. There is one subscription that being an individual user, you can't buy. That is enterprise. Enterprise subscription, which is only given to the organizations. If you are an organization, then you will get it. And that too, it has to be a big organization. Okay. Otherwise, pay as you go or P1, P2 will be more than sufficient to work with it. So any one of the subscriptions should be there. There are few more subscriptions like developer subscription. There is something like MSDN, Microsoft Developer Network subscription. There is a Visual Studio subscription. Okay, but these three are generally for the developers, testers, and Microsoft certified trainers. I'm using the MSDN subscription over here right now. If I show you my subscription, see MSDN platform subscription. This is my subscription over here. Like that, you will be having multiple subscriptions that can be attached. Now, at least one subscription can be there. And if you have more, you can attach you can attach all the subscriptions to your account also. But minimum one should be there. One active subscription should be there in order to work with what exactly you want to do. Without that, you won't be able to do anything. So remember this particular. Now in Azure Active Directory, you can create users, you can create groups. Okay. And to the groups, you can assign permissions also. And then you can simply add users to the group. You can simply do that as well inside Active Directory. You can add individual users and then give them the permission, or you can add groups, then add users to that particular group, and then add the single permission or multiple permissions to the group, so that you all will be having the same identical permissions only. Okay, so remember this particular thing. Now, under Azure Active Directory, the most important thing is basically called as a resource group. A resource group, also known as RG. Okay. Inside this Active Directory only, you have to create something called as RG, resource group. Resource group is nothing but a logical container. Listen to me carefully. It's a logical container that will have all the resources in it. Now, when I say resources, what exactly I'm talking here? I'm talking about virtual machines. I'm talking about virtual network. I'm talking about storage. Anything. Anything you want to create within Azure, basically it is a resource, and resource has to be inside a resource group only. So two things to be noted: to work with an Azure, to work with Azure, we need two things. One is gonna be the subscription. Two, it's gonna be the resource group. Without these two things, nothing can be created. It is so important. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about the Azure Active Directory in the beginning. But I thought let me practically show it to you. Okay, let's try to defy what I'm saying. Let's try to create a virtual machine without subscription and resource group. Let's try that. So I'll go back to the top. First of all, how basically this dashboard looks like or what exactly it is. Here on the top, you can see that I have a portal here called the URL called portal.azure.com. That is the portal of my Azure site. Here on the top, I have the uh, home button. If I'm anywhere available and I want to go to home button, I have to just click on it and it's good to go. Here on the left hand side, I have resources available, which resource I want to create. I want to go for virtual network. I'll click on it and I'm inside this. I want to create a function or app service. I'll click here and I'm inside this. I want to monitor something. I will click over here and then I'm inside the monitor page over here. You want to monitor virtual machines or storage or whatsoever, you have to enable and then work with it. So everything is already available if something is not there, for example. So you can click here on all services and you can see under all services, you have general, compute, networking is monitoring charged. For some of the default values, some of the default resources, it will not charge, but for rest of them, it will charge. So you need to you need to think that what exactly you want to monitor, and then you need to add it to the monitoring tab, and overall it will be charged then. You have networking, you have web, you have storage, mobile, container, databases, IoT, mixed reality, integration, identity, DevOps, migration. So many options are there. Okay, you need to select what exactly on which you want to work, and then only you need to, like for example, I need to work with maybe containers. So I have container instances, container registries, service fabric cluster, Azure, Red Hat, OpenShift, Kubernetes, batch, and app service. So I'll click here on Kubernetes and then I can create my entire Kubernetes service and then simply deal with it, work with it. You need to make sure what exactly you're looking for. And all the quickly or recently accessed services where I can get the list of services which are not charged. No, there is no direct link that says this will not be charged. You have to read about each and every service. The best part of Azure is that there is a documentation for everything in Azure. You go to the website, docs, docs.microsoft.com. You go to this website. And this website basically tells you about everything. Okay, now they have done something, some changes over here. Let's say documentation. Yeah, there it is. Product. On which product you want to work with. Like for example, I want to work on the Azure part. I'll first click over here and there it is. In Azure, which service you want to work with? I want to work with, for example, let's say Azure App Service only. So app service documentation, it is the overview, then getting started, then common task, run containers, CRUD app with database concept and tutorials, manage and integrate. Everything is added over here. You click on about the overview and then you get the entire detail. You can see here app service over here. So you need to differentiate each and everything. Why app service? There's a list why it has to be used. App service on Linux and so on. You need to find out what exactly you are looking for and then basically work with it. You can directly also you can go for Azure App Service Pricing. You can go for something like this. App Service Pricing, it will directly open this page like this. And in pay as you go, how it is gonna be, reservations, how it is gonna be, and so on. But you can see here, free for try, free, try for free over here. 10 mobile apps, 1 GB space will be free over here. Okay, you can see pay as you go, it is free service. Then if you go for the shared environment, it will be accessible over the 100 mobiles and app services, but it is gonna be 0.013 per hour, and so on. It is like that. So you need to find out what is gonna be the pricing model for the service that you are looking for. After configuration, the subscription will give me break billing. Okay, subscription, yes, will give you the entire billing, but once you have utilized it, that is the problem. You have to utilize the entire service for one hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Then it will be giving you the listing. Okay, that means after the bill has been generated, you have to pay that. And what pricing I'm talking about over here, before utilizing only, it is telling you that if you run the S1 plan, which is having 1 core and 1.75 GB and 50 GB storage, it is gonna cost you this much. So here you will be knowing all the information before you use it. But here in the subscription part, it will tell you after you have used it. It will give me a budgetary price before spinning instance. Not exactly. Not all the services. If I talk about Azure virtual machines, so before I create it, before I hit on the create button, it will show you overall. It is gonna like how we have seen before break, 9.5 rupees per hour, 8.1 rupees per hour, like that. Not all the services. So that's what I'm saying. You have to know about the pricing model also. That is the reason we have the Azure calculator, which will give you the estimate pricing part. Is it clear till here? Okay, cool. Okay, so great. So here you got the idea basically how you can simply deal with the pricing part. Let's come back over here. So here resources recently and favorite will be added over here. Some default navigation, some tools, Azure Monitor, costing, some useful links are there that you can simply use over here. And also the mobile apps for iOS and Apple, Apple and Android both are available. Then you on the top, you have the search option. You can search for anything and everything over here. Then you have the cloud shell. You have your basic directories and then subscriptions, notification. It's like your YouTube notification only. Once you clear it, all will be gone. Then you have the settings icon if you want to change some details over here. You have the feedback. Sorry, this is support and troubleshooting. And then finally you have the feedback option over here. This is the overview of your basic home page in Azure. Then you have the dashboard. You can create your own dashboards and basically if you want to manage anything specifically, like I have created one dashboard for my resource groups. Whatever resource groups are there, I will be having the list of all the groups available over here. Then I created one matrix chart for one VM, which is no more available. VM is not there, but still the matrix is available, and then simply I can deal with it, work with it. So all these things I can manage it manually according to my own need. Here under this favorite, you have the first option called resources, all resources, which will basically tell you what all things are available in your account right now. It is a mixed portal. Right now, only one service is there. So only one thing is there. If you want to target the resource groups, you can see here, I have so many resource groups available. Then I have virtual machines. Nothing is there as of now. We will create one by one. Storage account, virtual network, Active Directory, cost management, Defender, monitor, app service, and so on. If I want to add something like I don't have the VMSS available over here, what I'll do, I'll type VMSS and you can see here it is printed, it is available over here. And here you can see parallelly there's a star mark. The moment I click here on the star, the VMSS now is added over here. And I can scale it top, bottom, wherever I want in my own way. Okay, it is shifted. Let's keep it near to virtual machine like this. If you don't want it, hover your mouse and then just click on the star again and that's gone. That's gone. So you can manage your view, your portal in your own way. One of the most useless thing about Azure portal is this appearance. Some people I have seen use the dark mode like this. I literally hate it. So just still, but still people use it. So I'm just showing you over here. So managing the portal and its resources can be directly viewed over here. Okay. So don't worry about that. It is just the quick overview of how exactly you can manage your Azure portal. Now, what I'm planning is let's have a quick break. What do you guys say? Break sounds good. Only one person needs a break. Yes, it's needed. Okay. Okay, got it. Let's have a break now. Okay. And post break, no theories, only practicals. Okay. Whatever we have studied, whatever we have done, let's put everything onto the test now. And we'll see that what exactly we can do over here. That's 3:25 now. Let's be back at what time? Let's be back at 4 o'clock. Is it fine? 4 o'clock? Perfect. You guys are actually doing very well. So let's have a break. You guys need it. Okay, we'll be back at 4 o'clock and then we'll resume the remaining things. Okay, so please guys don't miss anything because whatever we have dealt till now, actually now I will be putting everything under test on the practical part. Okay, and after the session is over today, tomorrow EOD, by tomorrow EOD, you will be receiving all the things which I have promised. You'll be getting the certification, completion certification. You'll be getting the questions. You'll be getting the Azure passes, everything. How to redeem those passes, everything will be given to you by tomorrow EOD. Okay, but to work with those practicals, you should be knowing how to deal with the Azure and its related components. Okay, so please do not miss anything now in the end. Okay, you have shown patience since morning till now. Just few more minutes, maybe by 5 o'clock, 5:15, I'll try to wind up. Okay, so please do not miss anything now. Okay, if anyone has missed out, which you know, who has joined earlier and is not available now, please ask them to join and see the walkthrough of each and every or most of the resources. Okay, let's have a break. We'll be back at 4 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Okay, guys, I'm back. All are here, all have joined the session. Okay, cool, cool. So let's focus on the practicals now. Okay, so I will just refresh the web browser. Okay, now here we will be deploying some of the resources. We will try to see how exactly it works out. Okay, so here my task is my task is okay to launch a web page. Okay, this should be on global scale. Okay, globally, I want to launch a web page using Azure VM. Basically, this is an example of infrastructure as a service. This is what I want to do over here right now. Okay, this is the task which we will be deploying. See, I can start with all basic things. Or this is another way how you can take one single task, break it down into pieces, and then deploy all of them one by one. So basically, I like this particular approach so that we will be heading in the appropriate direction only. So what I want to do, I want to basically work or launch a simple web browser, sorry, a web page on my Azure virtual machine. Now, to do this, what basically we need over here? First thing, I need a resource group. So create a new resource group. Once resource group is created, next thing what I need to do, I don't have to create subscription. It's already there. It is active. So only I'm working on it. So what I need to do next is I need to create a virtual network. Okay. Because without virtual network, you cannot run a virtual machine on cloud. Okay. This is done. Then next what I will be doing is create a virtual machine. Next thing I will be creating the virtual machine over here. After virtual machine is created, now this virtual machine either can be a Windows machine or it could be a Linux machine. So in which platform you want me to deploy? Quickly respond in the chat window. Majority options I will be taking. Windows, one Windows, two Windows, 3, 4, 5. Okay, all Windows only. Fine. Then I will be focusing on Windows over here. But for Linux, I'll show you if you want how exactly it can be done. Approach is almost similar. Inside this virtual machine, what I need to do inside the VM, install the IIS web server. And then after that, what I will be doing is I will be creating a new web page. This is the overall procedure that I have to follow. Okay. Don't worry about these steps. No need to write them. Just look here. It is getting recorded. Point number one. Point number two. I will be sharing the a detailed book which will be having multiple scenarios in it. So you can simply work on that as well. Okay. Now let's dive into the practicals. Step number one, create a resource group. So if it is not available, it is available here, but sometimes it is not. So what you can do, you can type here resource groups and you can see here it's present. Click on it. Either you go over there or directly click over here. It goes to the same page only. So here you have the option here called create. Click on it. The very first thing it starts is resource group is a container, blah, blah, blah. It has given a small definition of what resource group is. The very first thing is subscription. You can see here, it is a star mark. implementing, this is an important or required value. Same with the resource group. So here you can see I only have one resource, one subscription. So only one is there. Resource group, I have to give a name over here. Which resource, what should be the resource group name? So you can give any name that you want. I'm gonna go for workshop demo. Okay, workshop demo. I'm just giving a name over here, workshop demo. You can give whatever name you want. Now the region where exactly you want to create it. I told you that you have to always create a resource nearest to your client. Okay, right now there's no client available for me, so I can create wherever I want, and here's my list. My favorite location is East US. Okay, randomly you can go for any of them, not a problem. But remember one thing, whatever location you have selected here, try to put all the resources in that particular location only. Not mandatory, but it is a good symbol to or good way to proceed with the resources in Azure. So I'm going for now onwards East US location only. Then next tag. So tags are nothing but key value pair, which will be useful in so many things like billing. Later on, after this entire workshop is done, I want to find out for workshop demo how much money I have invested. So only for this particular, what I can do, I can tag it. Name is gonna be name, and the value is gonna be workshop demo, something like that. So later on, I can target only this particular workshop demo and find out how much money I have invested for this procedure, this practical. It could be anything, any name, any value you can write here. Up to 50 tags, 50 tags can be attached to any resource or resource group. Next, review and create. It is just showing what all things I have written, and it should be validation passed. Once it is passed, just click on create and it is done. Validating, hold on, and done. You can see resource group created. If I remove it from here, click on notification. Here it will show me what exactly is done as of now. Okay, so here I'll close that notification and you can see workshop demo is present here. If I click on it right now, you can see workshop demo and no resources. So right now there are no resources. That's fine. Now we will put it over here. So step one done. Next step is to create the virtual network. To do that, what I can do on the left hand side, I have virtual network available, or I can search it over here, virtual network. You can see here it's present. So any approach is okay for me. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna deploy a network over here right now. Okay. So to do that, simply click on create. So Azure Virtual Network VNet, here in short we call it as VNet, is a fundamental building block, blah, blah, blah. So many things are there. Again, it is starting with the subscription and resource group. I told you, you cannot create anything without subscription and resource group. You can't do anything over here. Subscription is, it's gonna be the same. Resource group, I will be selecting mine, which is workshop demo. And virtual network name, so I will just give the name as WS for workshop hyphen VNet. Just short name I have given. You can give a complete full name, workshop demo V or virtual network. I like to go for the shortcuts. So I have given a name. Region, I told you I will be selecting the region East US2 only. So it is by default available. In case you want to change it, click on it and here you have all the resources, sorry, locations. Next, sorry. Next is, if we choose different region for different resources, will it go to? No, no impact will be there. If your application is very sensitive to the latency, then there might be some latency problem. Otherwise, there won't be any performance issue. Generally, it is recommended by Azure that you should keep all of your resources under one resource group in simple single region. It is recommended to get best out of what you have right now. Okay, but it won't impact much. So don't worry about that. Then security. So we have Bastion, we have Azure Firewall, we have DDoS standard protection. So you can enable them. All these are chargeable. So I'm not gonna enable it right now. Okay. IP addressing. You can see here I have some sort of IP addressing added to this particular point, which is 10 dot series. I don't want 10 dot series. I hate it. On my personal level, I hate this. I'll delete that. You can see you must add at least one address space. I will add it from this button. Then it is going to be IPv4 or IPv6. You can select starting address would be. Now, if you don't know what exactly you are targeting, you have this I option over here and you can see first address of the range, also known as CIDR. So I'll go for 172.16.0.0 slash 16 to be. No, it's not selecting. Okay, because address space size is available over here. See, if you select slash 32, you will get only one address. 31, two addresses. 34 addresses. So those who are weak in networking, like me, okay, they can simply find out how many IP addresses are required for you and you can simply play with that. I'm gonna go for slash 16. So with that, I will be getting 65,536 IP addresses as of now. Okay, so I'll click on that and I'm good with this. Click on add. Right now, there are no subnets available. I'll click here, add subnet. This is the address range. Then subnet name will be sub1, not sub1, sub1. Starting address range, it's gonna be 172.16.1.0. And here I'll make it slash 24. Okay, so overall in this subnet, I will be having 256 addresses. How do we know how many addresses are required for our environment? Again, before you actually deploy the things, you have to design everything. You need to make sure that you get all the understandings from your teams, how many teams will be there. And then based on that, you need to select the slash address ranges over here. Right now, this is a simple testing. So I've taken slash 16 and slash 24. In practical, in the production, it might be more than what we want, or maybe it is less than what we have right now. All depends. You have to gather the information for it. Security, NAT gateway, resource group, route table. Right now, I'm not providing anything. This is what I want over here right now. Add and it is added. You want, you can add another subnet. I'll give the name here sub 2 and give the range 172.16.2.0. And this also I will make it slash 24 and add. So now I have one virtual. Now try to understand how it is gonna work out. So assume like this. This is your bigger network, which will be 172.16.0.0 slash 16, which is giving you approximately 65,535 IPs. Inside that, what I did, I created two subnets. One is gonna be this and other one is gonna be this. So sizes are same. And here it is gonna be 172.16.1.0 slash 24. And here it is gonna be 172.16.2.0 slash 24. So I created two subnets. Like that, I can create multiple subnets over here. Each subnet is giving me approximately 256 IPs over here. So you can calculate how many IP address ranges and how many things you want. You can calculate all those things and then you can deploy it over here. Next tag. So again, I can give the same tag over here, name, and name is gonna be, the value is gonna be workshop demo. See here, automatically it popped up. One tag can be implemented to any number of resources, doesn't matter. Next, it is gonna give the summary, how exactly everything goes over here, and you can see validation passed, create. So now what will happen? It is basically deploying virtual network for me in the backend. So simple. It's overview is there, deploying, just give it some time. Here I will get deployment has succeeded or completed or failed, whatsoever is the status. It is done. See, my statement did not finish and the deployment got finished. So here the things are going well. So now if I again go back to this virtual network this time, oh, it doesn't show anything. Sometimes it does like that. So refresh the entire web page. Come on. There it is. You can see WS VNet under workshop demo in East US. It is created. Next thing I need to, this is done. This is also virtual network is done. Now let's create a virtual machine, a Windows based virtual machine. If I search here on the left side, I have the option here called virtual machines, or again, you can search on top. So virtual machines right now you can see no virtual machine to display. So Azure has this thing whether either you click over here or you click over here. It is gonna be the same thing if you do not have any resource as of now. If it is there, then this option will not be visible. It will be still there. So I'll click here and then I want to create Azure virtual machine. I'll click on it and it opens the entire portal for me, which accepts multiple values like basic, disk, networking, management, monitoring, advanced, tag, and review create. So all these things now you have to fill one by one. Okay. If in case you got stuck with how to create a virtual network, you got stuck with how to create a virtual machine, see the beauty of it. Create Azure VNet using right portal like this and search or hunt for the Microsoft learn.microsoft.com link. Click on it and there we go. Prerequisite, you need an active subscription, sign into this, click on this, plus snapshots are also attached over here. Now in this case, you don't need G2's help. Everything is already available, including creating virtual machine. Create two VMs. First VM, fill all these details like this. Create second VM, all these details. Connect, how to connect also, communication between the two and so on. Every detailed information is already provided under the documents. Let's go back to the creation. So here subscription is same resource group. I am gonna go for workshop. Virtual machine is gonna be my web server 01. I've just taken some simple name so that I can easily see and understand what exactly is happening over here. Now remember one thing, whatever name you give over here, whatever name, the same is gonna be your computer name. Okay, so if you check here on my computer name is work PC. See here. So in this particular aspect, here I have given work PC and ultimately after the installation is done, I was getting the work PC computer name over here. Same way happens over here. once your virtual machine will be created, its name is gonna be my web server svr01 by default. Later you can change it also. I'm not gonna do that. Let's look here. Region, it's gonna be East US. Availability options. See there. You want availability zone. Physically separate your resources within an Azure region. Then you have availability set. Then you have virtual machine scale set. How you want to put your virtual machine can be clearly seen from this particular point. So I'm ignoring this for now. Okay, I will leave it to you guys. You do some R&D on that. You'll get more info. Images. Now I told you that I will be using the Windows operating system. Which Windows? So many windows are there. So click here on drop down and you can see recently used and some of the marketplace. Marketplace is just like Google Play Store or iOS Apple Store. You go to that particular app store, you purchase the application, or some of them are free, you use them and start working on it. Same way, marketplace is a place actually where you can purchase, create, upload your own machines and anyone else can use that. You can see here I have Windows Server 2016, 19 and so on. 22, 19, 16, even Windows 10 and Windows 11 also. And if you're thinking Jitu only this much is available, so below you have the option that says see all images. Click on it and it opens the entire portal for you. You can see here my images. I have not uploaded anything, so it is empty. I have not shared anything, it is empty. Community images, you can see here. These all are under preview. Check this out. Community images preview. So these are not fully production level things, ISOs, but these are available under beta version. Same with the direct shared images. All. If I click on all, check this. Overall, I have 4,853 options to select. In Windows Server, what you want? Plan here. Check. It's a big list. What else you want, man? See, it's a huge list. Same Windows 10. Check this out. All these are Windows 10 images. Ubuntu, Windows 11, Kali Linux, Red Hat, Microsoft Windows 7, Ubuntu, SQL, Ubuntu Server, Windows Multi-Session, Office 365, Ubuntu Desktop, CentOS, CentOS based, Visual Studio, Debian 11, and Control Panel, cPanel, Ubuntu. Then go for next. There it is. So all 4,853 images will be visible to you. I'm just gonna go for Windows Server 2016 as of now. Okay. Always remember this particular point. Mac OS also. Yes, even Mac OS is also available. VM architecture. So this ISO selects or works with only x64. So only it is available. Some of them enables ARM64 as well. So if they supports ARM64, you can select that as well. But you can see ARM64 is not supported with supported with the selected image. Then size, what size you want? See here, two vCPUs 4 GB, two vCPUs 8 GB, four vCPUs 16 GB, and so on. If you think only this much is there, again see all sizes. Click on it. There we go. It is one vCPU, 3 GB, 3.5 GB RAM, and four data disks attached. Like that, if you keep on moving down, you will get a huge list like this. So Azure gives a very huge variety of whatever you want. You can do that. I'm just going for two vCPUs and 4 GB because I have to scale also later on. So I'm going with the standard as of now, which is estimated as 2,187.87 per month. This is gonna be the per month cost for me. Now administrator. Now if you are knowing about the Windows environment, administrator is the account which has all the privileges. By default in Azure, the administrator account will be deactivated. Plus, whatever name you write here will become automatically the admin user. So if I write here, I'm gonna write my name. With this, I want to log in. So I've given the username G2. You can give any other random name that you like. And a 12 character, minimum 12 character password. So I will write my password over here. And using these username and passwords only, I will be able to log in. Now, here, next thing is inbound port rules. Azure by default will never allow you to run any virtual machine which does not allow some specific ports. Windows, we have selected Windows, so by default, it is selecting the RDP protocol 3389 port number. If it is a Linux machine, you have to select the SSH port 22. So you have to make sure that you select the basic required outputs or the port numbers that you want to access. I want to allow port 80, port 443 and 3389 on my machine. The traffic should be allowed from outer world to the VM. So I have allowed these ports by default. Okay. So now licensing, you can say up to 49%. So I don't have license right now. So I'm just ignoring it, this particular part. Next is disk. So what kind of disk you want, whether it should be the SSD or regular hard disk. You can see here there are several names written like premium SSD, best for production and performance. Then you have standard SSD, best for web server and lightly used enterprise and dev test. Then you have standard HDD hard disk, best for backup, non-critical. So I think this will be fine for me. Okay, this will be fine for my work. If you want to add additional disk, you can create and attach it from here. I don't want to add it right now. So next, networking. Now see here, virtual network automatically WSVnet. If you remember this particular step over here, virtual network that we created is automatically available over here. Why it is available over here automatically? Reason is my virtual network and virtual machine are in same location only. This is also East US and this is also East US. Because of that only my VNet is available. Otherwise, I have to create a new one from here. Otherwise, if it is not showing, then I have to create it from here. And if you don't create, then also you proceed further, then Azure will take its default values and create a new virtual network for you. Virtual network is required for the VM, no matter what happens. If you give it, it will take that. If you don't give it, it will create a new one for itself. So virtual network, if you remember, I created two subnets, sub 1, sub 2, both are available. So you can select any of them. Public IP. Here in the bracket, new is written. That means new public IP will be given to this. Okay. Next. I'm taking all default values, identity, let it be like that. Auto shutdown. After this entire session, I want my VM should be shut down automatically at 6:30 p.m. 6:30, and here I will go for Indian time, that is plus 5:30. Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi. And before shutdown, do you want the notification? I don't want notification. Otherwise, unnecessarily it will send. I know this is gonna work out. Enable backup. You want to enable the backup immediately. You have to just click on it and you can see a default vault will be created. This vault is basically recovery service vault, a component that is responsible for taking the backup of your virtual machine. How you want to take the backup? Either standard, which is once a day backup, and enhances means multiple backups per day. It is under preview right now, means in the beta version. So I'm not gonna go for the backup as of now. Next, monitoring. Do you want to enable monitoring for this? Right now you can see alerts, enable recommended alerts. So it is right now off. And then boot diagnostics. I don't want any diagnostic logs as of now. If you want, you can enable it everything like this. You have to just enable everything like this. I don't want, so I just cancelled it because these are chargeable. Alerts are chargeable, diagnostic boot logs are chargeable, OS guest logs are chargeable. Advanced. Now, the moment virtual machine is created, I want particular task to be executed automatically. So I can pass a complete script. Diagnosis means if something went wrong on your machine and you want to perform, you want to find out what went wrong. So what Azure does is it stores all the logs in the storage account. So when you enable the diagnostic logs, it will also create a storage account so that it can store the logs. That is the reason I have disabled it, because creating the storage account will charge something. Okay, so you can simply put the data over here. Next tag again, name I will be giving and demo workshop. Review and create. Check this out. It's gonna cost 2.99 rupees per hour. Now I have properly filled each and every information. Because of that only, it is costing me nearly 3 rupees per hour. So no problem with that. Click on create. So wait for it. Hardly it is gonna take a minute or so. And it will, okay, you can see here initialize deployment. I can click on it and it will show me all the details over here. I have refreshed the web page earlier, so only the previous logs are gone from here. You want to check, click here on this more event log. It will give you the entire details. So what it is doing here will be displayed. Wait for some time. So you can see here NSG got created, IP got created. NSG is what? Any idea? National Security Guard. What is NSG? NSG is Network Security Group. The ports that you have added, port 80, port 443, port 3389, it is actually the firewall rules that you have allowed to allow only those three rules in your machine. Apart from that, everything will be rejected. So that is the reason it created the rule first, then IP, and then network card, and then there we go. See how fast it is. I'm unable to finish my statement and here it is. So you can see it is completed. I'll click here on virtual machine either here or also I can go for yes, NSG allow basically inbound and outbound rules. So go to resource. If I go over here, you can see direct access like this, or you click here on virtual machine and then this is the name, click on it and here we go. You can see right now it says virtual machine agent status is not ready. Even though your virtual machine is created, it will take some time. Okay, hardly a minute or 2 minutes to set up all the options and everything. So even though it is created, wait for some time until this warning is gone from here. You can refresh it. You can see here, meanwhile, resource group is work demo, status is running, location is east to west, subscription ID, tag, you can see here, name and workshop demo. DNS name, I have not configured. It is showing the virtual network in subnet. Public IP, that's my public IP. Standard size, B2S, 2 CPUs and 4 GB RAM. And it is a Windows Server 2016 data center. I told you that it provides some default monitoring status as well, monitoring capabilities as well. So here you can see properties, it is showing the default properties. If I click here on monitoring, you can see here, it's giving me the key matrices. Right now, my CPU usage is 0. This is freely available. This monitoring part, this is freely available. CPU, network, disk byte, disk operation per second, available memory byte, virtual machine availabilities, and so on. So here it is giving me the default data so that I can basically get the basic overview of my virtual machine. Now, if it is not up to the mark, if you don't, if you want more than that, then you have to enable monitoring over here. Then you have to enable these monitoring, additional Azure monitoring tools. So here, these all are chargeable. They all charge for every transaction happening here and there. But ultimately, you will get all the details inside. Go for troubleshoot. Where exactly you're talking about this troubleshoot part? Okay, see here in this help section, you have these troubleshooting options by default. You have resource health, if your virtual machine is responding properly or not. You have boot diagnostics. You have boot diagnostics. For that, you have to configure it. You have to enable it. Again, this is chargeable. But what boot diagnostics will do, if you are unable to fetch your virtual machine, if you are unable to work with your virtual machine, then boot diagnostic logs will basically give you the boot logs that what happened because of which you are unable to work with your VM. Performance diagnostics, you have to install it. Then you have VM inspector, which is again under the preview, which will tell you that what exactly happened with your VM. Okay, for that, again, you need a storage account so that it can store all the data in it. The password which I have given in the beginning can be reset from here. Reset password, I have to give username and password and then click on update. My password will be reset. You want to redeploy or reapply the configurations, it can be done over here. Serial console. If you don't know what is happening with your virtual machine and you want to find out, basically you go for the serial console log. Connection troubleshooting, if you are like this one, you have your IP, you have your port numbers. If something is not working, you can simply fetch the information over here, why your machine is not connecting. So you can click here on test connection and it will basically trigger the connectivity troubleshooting to find out what exactly is the problem. If there are no problems here, it will be displayed, no issues. Okay, deployment is in progress. Just hold on for a second. There it is. Unknown error occurred. Why this happened? Okay, network watcher is deployed. Okay, let's see. Network watcher RG is something which basically monitors each and every virtual machine. Okay, so support and troubleshooting, if you are unable to do anything, if you are unable to connect to your virtual machine, still everything is looking good, still you are not getting any problem, why it is happening, you can just start the like you type the description, go for it, and then you can create a simple report over here. Okay, this is simple basic virtual machine things which are available. Now you can see the error is gone. Now let's connect to it. I'll click here on connect. You can see RDP is there. I will download the RDP. There it is. Click on connect. Username. Username is G2, which I have given in the beginning, and my password. Okay, and just click on OK. Wait for some time and click on the yes. You have to allow the certificate to access it. And there we go. My virtual machine, you can see here, it's getting ready. You can see hardly, if I remove the explanation part, hardly took 5, maybe less than that, 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes to simply run and spin my virtual machine over here. It is so simple. Okay. Initialization initially will take some time because you're loading it for the very first time. That is the reason. Okay. And let's open the command prompt. And if I type here host name, if you check here, host name is the same my web server 01, which you have given at the time of VM creation. Now let's install here. If I go back to my notepad, virtual machine is ready and accessible. Now inside the VM, I have to install IIS. Without that, my web server will not work. So let's install the IIS web server over here. So this is the server manager dashboard page. It is a Windows server now. If you have worked on any remote Windows server, this is how it looks like. It is initializing, it is refreshing all the components here in the backend. Just hold on. And you can see this blue line moving. This means it is still refreshing. So we have to wait for it. Okay. So now I'll click here on add roles and features. Before that, hold on. Before that, what I need to do is it's close to real one. Exactly. Now here what I'll do, I'll go to overview. I will grab this public IP. I'll grab this public IP and paste it here in my web browser and enter. Right now, it will give me an error. I'm expecting an error right now. Okay, let's wait for it. Now, what is the science behind this? I have given the public IP address of my virtual machine, and I'm trying to access by default port 80 on this VM. But there's nothing. You can see here the site can't be reached. There is nothing running on this particular port 80 right now. That is the reason this is the error. Leave it as it is. Now I'll go back to my machine and then I will install web server. Next, next. Here you can see web server is available. I will click on it and add features. Next and next and next and install. Wait for some time. Do we need to enable port? We have already enabled the port. Check this out. We have already enabled the port. You can see here port 3389, port 443 and port 80. Remember when we were creating the port, we have tick marked that particular ports in the uh, inbound rule. This is what we have done. In case you have not done it, for example, in this, I want to add one more port like port 1234. I want to add something like this. I'll go over here, add inbound port rule. Service, let it be custom and port will be 1234. Some testing port I have given. You want to allow, deny, do whatever you like. Click on add. Simple. Just wait for it. It will be added over here automatically. Without adding the port, it is not gonna work out. So remember that. It's successfully created. Let me browse it again. And can you see that? Port 1234. I know it doesn't have any use case right now over here, but yes, It is doable. That's what I'm trying to explain. So parallelly, even my installation is going on the web server right now. Just wait for it some time. And you can see installation is successful. The installation of my IIS web server is successful. Now I'll go back over here. You can see earlier it was giving me an error. Now if I refresh it, I should be getting that blue color page, which is given by the IIS web server. Let's see what we have. Can you see that? Not even like this. Take this URL and you guys now open it in your web browsers. Everyone, click on that URL and open it in your web browser, even in your mobile phones also. If someone is accessing via mobile phone, please click on that URL, open it in your web browser and tell me, are you getting the same page or not? Yes. And it is a global website. Global website means if I go back to my web browser, let me show you something. I will go back to C drive, inetpub, www root, and view. You can see there are two default icons available. I will open one of the icon, which is a PNG file, and I will add something over here. Now everybody please refresh your web browsers. Everyone please refresh your web browsers. Can you see something on top? So this is a live change. I can go back. I can go back over here. And if I open this with the notepad, if I refresh the page now, can you see that in the end? Refresh your web browsers right now again. So what I did basically, nothing. Just launched a virtual machine and my website is up and running globally. I just have to share this IP address. Okay, this IP address is quite bad in terms of production, but if I have my own domain, I can bind that domain with this and it is done. Do it once again. No, because I have something really better than this. So here to launch my website, that was the task that I was looking for. Create a web page and it is done. To launch my own website, I had to go through all these things. This is the basic example of infrastructure as a service where we deployed my resource group, we deployed the virtual network, virtual machine, we installed the IIS web server, and then we created the page. If you look at the diagram of infrastructure as a service in the beginning, see, I did not choose the virtualization, server, storage, or networking part. I just had to deal with the operating system and application and its data. Now let's see the real example of platform as a service. Same thing, I want to host my website, but this time using the platform as a service task. This time I want to do it using platform as a service. So to launch a website globally using something called as Azure App Service. Okay. Now to do that, what simply I have to do is I'll go back over here. I'll select or I will search for app service. You can see here, I've got the name here called app services, or here in the left hand side also, we have that name available, app services. App services is the way of creating a globally enabled website directly using, you can see here, .NET, Java, Node.js, PHP, and Python. If you know any one of them, you can have your own website up and running globally. And how it is gonna be? So I will just click on create. Resource group is gonna be same, workshop demo. App name, the app name has to be unique. So workshop 0101, something like that. App is not available. Okay, someone has already taken this. My demo workshop 01. Okay, this name worked out. So my website name will be my workshop, my demo workshop 01. Okay. Now you want code, you want Docker container, you want to have your own static web app. You can simply select anything you like from this particular point. Okay. So I'll go for the code. Let's go for the code over here. Now run stack. What what runtime stack you want? It should be .NET or Go or Java or I know somewhat PHP, so let's go for PHP 8.0. It should be Linux based or Windows based. You can select that. Let me go for some 8.1 where it should enable Windows. No, it is not allowing me. Let's take Python. No. Okay, now you can see here, it is allowing me both Windows and Linux based platforms over here. Okay, so let's take the static, what I'm doing. I wanted Windows enabled because it will allow me to edit the website directly on the go, but it's not doing that. Let's take .NET only. Anyway, so region, it is gonna be the same. I'm not gonna disturb anything, just review and create. So what it will do, what this app service will do, it will create an empty container for you. It is gonna create an empty container for you, which will be allowed. You can see here, it is gonna cost me 3,155 rupees per month based on what values I've selected. So I've taken all default only. Create. Let it be. I'm not gonna pay that much amount. Obviously, I'm gonna delete that. So if right now here it is written per month, but I will be using for 10-15 minutes. So I only have to pay that much amount. That is the beauty. Just hold on for some time. It's almost done. Okay, it is almost done. It says still deployment in progress. Okay, yeah, now you can see deployment is completed. Go to resource, and in this resource, what will happen? Hold on. This is the URL. Here you can see you have got a URL, my demo workshop 01.azurewebsites.net. This is the name of my website. I'll paste it, hit enter. You can see your web app is running and waiting for your content. So now you can simply basically go here and then modify whatever you want. I have one option here. Let me check if it is still there. Task, no. Uh, quick deployment, configuration, identity. Remember I talked about the custom domain purchasing. So here you have the custom domain option here. From here directly you can purchase a new custom domain like g2sync.in or hahaha.world, whatever you want. Everything can be purchased from this particular point. Obviously, the amount will be charged, so be careful. Okay. Scale up options is there, app service, quota. There was one option, this one I was talking about, app service editor. Okay. So here you can simply go online. Just hold on. So here right now what it is happening is it is opening an online portal for you. Check this out. Right now, let me share this name with you guys. Okay, so that you can see how the global modification is happening. Please open that URL again and you will be getting this similar output right now. Please check it quickly. Are you getting the same thing? Yes. Okay. Now I'll go back to this online editor and hosting star.html. And what I will do over here is you can see it looks like an HTML code. And what I will do, I will modify this entire. Where is that body? The text is very small. This is JavaScript div. Okay. Slash body. There it is. So what I'll do from here till here, I will remove everything. Okay. Third line. Yeah, thank you. I got that. Now what I need to do, I need to basically, why should I rewrite everything when you can copy? So I'll copy this entire and I will paste it over here and save it. Go back, refresh it and see if you're getting the same thing or not. Please refresh your web pages and see if you're getting the same thing or not. Now you tell me which approach is much simpler, the virtual machine approach or the app service approach. App service. This is the beauty of cloud. On the go, yes, this one is good and easier. So this is where you have to think that what exactly you want to do. Ultimately, we are launching the website only. Okay. But the main thing is you have to think what is good for your environment. Either it is going to be the infrastructure as a service or it is going to be the platform as a service. Now I'm not at all worried about what is there in the backend. I can simply go back here and I can change. Like right now, if I go ahead and do something like this, H2 presented by something like this. If I go ahead and again refresh it, I will be able to see the changes. See, you want to align this in center, even that can be done. Check. So the changes are happening on the go. And this is a global change. I have changed it. You have to refresh once or twice on your end, and then you will be able to find the same thing on your side. If you are not getting the same again, take the URL, paste it in another web browser or in incognito mode, and then you will get what exactly you want. This is what I'm trying to explain since morning. This is what you can do with the cloud environment. Now, last thing regarding the uh, scaling part, which we have not seen yet. So if you look at this particular task manager as of now, you will be able to see in the performance that you can see here I have, okay, check this out. I have two virtual processors and you talk about memory, it is 4 GB only. Performance, which one is better? Performance wise, PAS is better because if you want to modify, you know what exactly you have to do and where exactly you have to modify it. Please help me. I will be, guys, I will be sharing the step-by-step procedure with you, whatever I have done over here. So you don't have to follow it again because we have less time left out. So I already planned and I have saved it in one single file, and that file I will be sharing with you. So even if you copy paste the same thing, you will be able to do that. Okay. So here you can see right now I have two core processor and I have 4 GB RAM over here. Now let me go back to my VM virtual machine. Check this out. This is the last point. Please look here everyone so that you can understand how things are actually going on. So size is gonna be size right now it is 2 vCPUs and 4 GB RAM. I will not bluff. Okay, so let me just quickly take the snapshot of it so that later on I can compare it and show it to you what exactly it is. It shouldn't be like a bluff show in the end. Now I want to scale it from 4 GB. I think the 4 GB is going less for me. So what I want 8 GB. If any one of you want, you can start the counter or the clock on your mobile or wherever you want. I'll go here on size. Here you can see right now 4 GB RAM is selected. I'll go for on top, just above that, I have two vCPUs and 8 GB RAM. I will click on that and click on resize. With this, what will happen? This VM will be shut down. Immediately it will be shut down. Just wait for it. Did you notice it got shut down? And now it is, you can see here, resizing virtual machine. These are virtual. Yes, these are virtual RAMs. You can see, just hold on for some time. It's resizing in the back end. Resized. Done. If I go back to the overview now, you can see two vCPUs, 4 GB memory still. But if I refresh it, it is going to take some time. Meanwhile, whenever we make changes, then the VM will reboot and changes will appear. Yes, exactly, Venkat. Every every time you resize either plus or minus, there will be a reboot. Means maintenance will be required. Okay, so write the IP now. It didn't work. Yes, because the VM is getting restarted, man. Here, if I refresh it, okay, now it is working. Now you can try that. But meanwhile, the VM is not available. Obviously, the application will also be not available for you. That's the obvious thing. Let me refresh the entire downtime for site will be very small. Great. Yes. And if you have now you can see here two vCPUs and 8 GB. Same virtual machine only, but check this out. Check the difference between the two. Okay. So here you have the enhanced, or you can say the upgraded virtual machine, where it took hardly a minute, maybe less than that, to basically resize your virtual machine. Once you confirm it, now again you can connect back, click on download, download the RDP, or you can use the same old RDP and you can give the password over here and click on yes, and we are done. So here now I have 8 GB memory available on this particular machine. Check. Okay. Two vCPUs only, two virtual processor, but this time memory is 8 GB. VRAMs can be exceed. Okay, that's a good question. How long you can keep on increasing that? So for that particular, it all depends on what category you are using right now. My current category is standard D2 ASV4. You don't have to memorize these things. Just go on size on the left hand side, and whatever will be allowed will be active for you. Even I can go for 16 GB and I can resize it. If I scroll down, you can see these many modes are available. Even 80 GB RAM is also there. You can try that. Okay, I'm not gonna go for it, but you can see here all these things can be used directly. So these classes, these series which we are using, these series are quite important for us. Let me go on top. Most, you can see here, most used by Azure user, D series V4, fourth generation D series for general purpose. So these are completely your own categories that you want, depending upon the work that you have. If you have, like you can see here, premium storage is recommended for most workload. You have to go for this non-premium storage over here. Okay, here is IS need. No, it is already installed. If I go directly, you can see here on the left hand side. If I go back, refresh my web page, still the website is running. You don't have to modify anything. These are horizontal or vertical upgrades. What are those? You guys tell me. We in morning we spoke about that. Is it a horizontal scaling or vertical scaling? Only one answer. Others. This is vertical scaling. In vertical scaling, same virtual machine, but bigger size. Same VM will be evolved. In horizontal, we have same VM replicated multiple times. Okay, so always remember that. This is vertical scaling. Okay, so this is how basically we can work with your compute part. IIS setup once again. IIS setup. Okay, what you have to do in IIS web setup here on the dashboard, this particular add roles and features. You have to click on next, next, next. Here you will get the list of roles that you want. Make sure that this this web server in bracket IIS should be check marked. And then next and finish, next and install. Once it is installed, it will take a minute or so. Once it is installed, what you have to do, you have to go for C drive, inet pub, and www root. And these are the two web pages, the default web pages. You need to just modify them. The video link will be shared with you. Okay, so please go ahead and revisit the same timestamp so that you can understand how exactly it is happening. Okay, that will help you out. So guys, is this clear till this particular point? This is the main practical thing I wanted to explain. And meanwhile, in the resource group, you open your own resource group over here. Check. We have just done 2 tasks. And for 2 tasks only, how many resources we have created? We created 9 records. Actually, we have only done 2 tasks, launching the Azure VM and app service. But actually what happened in the end, there are 9 resources that got created. Hosting the website, same. Yeah, it is almost same. Not exactly, but almost it is same. So, do you have any queries now? Only need to buy domain. Boss, even that is not required. You can see here the app service name. It looks good. You want to buy a domain, it's not very costly also. You will get it for 1 year, you will get it for 400 or 500 rupees, not more than that. From second year, it will be a bit chargeable, but for 1 year, it will be easy for you to get it if you want to buy your own domain. Okay, so anything is fine. How to manage traffic on website. Okay, that's a complete different topic. But in short, if you want to manage the traffic, you have something called as see the managing the traffic can be done in different ways. One, you can directly use something called as application insights. This one. Application insight, you can see here my workshop because I have enabled my demo monitoring part. So here you can see here I can get all the details, field request, server response time, server request, availability, everything is available over here in last 30 minutes, 1 hour and so on. Like that, there are so many other things that can be done. So application insights is one of the simple tool. Need to jump on another call in next 10 minutes. Okay, we are almost done, guys. Just a minute. Sugandhi, are you there? Sugandhi, are you there? How many load handle by website? It is just a simple normal website. It can't hold multiple. See, my application will fail, but the app service is not gonna fail. That these are two different things. Okay, the app, it does not have anything, so it will fail definitely. But the application where you have installed it, where you have launched, it's not gonna fail so easily. It requires very in-depth and detailed type of what do you say hack to basically crash the entire website. Okay, so don't worry about the website part. It's gonna be quite simple and secure. Just give me a second, guys. I'll call my teammates so that they can finish the remaining part.
Good evening, all. Uh, Jitu?
Yeah, hi Sugandhi, good evening.
Yeah, Jitu, you're posting the link, feedback link.
Please share it with others. Few people are about to leave. I got the message in the chat. So
Yeah,
let
I'm just, yeah. 1 second.
guys, you have
Just,
to fill the feedback. It is also a type of attendance only. So just in a while, you will be shared with a feedback link. Please fill it so that we can send all the video recordings and everything on those emails, whatever you will be typing over there. Please don't miss that feedback. Take 1 minute time and fill it. It's not very lengthy. Sure. Great. Pushpendra, voucher details will be sent in the email itself. The final mail that you'll be getting from my team will consist of all the things in one single package itself. You don't have to run here and there. You don't have to contact us multiple times. We will be sharing one mail by tomorrow EOD. Okay, maybe in morning or by end of the day we'll be sharing. It will have all the things that you want and that we have promised to give it to you. Everything will be there in that. So please bear 5 more minutes over here. Sugandhi, over to you.
yeah. Thank you, Jitu. Good evening, all. Once again, it was a wonderful workshop. Thank you, Jitu, for sharing your knowledge. So hope and everyone gained a good amount of knowledge from this session. So I would like to take 2 minutes of your time before you people are filling this feedback form, I guess. So meanwhile, I'll just complete my work. So this is
Sugandhi,
we are Microsoft Learning partners and Microsoft technology. We are a one-stop solution. We have a different team who will handle all this like a TNI Microsoft Technologies. So we will just analyze the courses. So based on that, we will suggest the courses and modules, and accordingly we will be delivering the training, and we will just check if the required the certification on the same. So we will be also providing the certification courses training along with the vouchers. And we can also, if any scopes for your organization that we need to support on the consulting part also, we are very expertised, and we have a very expertised team who can handle all this process. And we have consulting and Microsoft technology, and as we are a Microsoft learning partner, we can able to meet the expectation as you team expecting. So this is all about us, and we are Microsoft Azure certification. We can also support on all this certifications courses, plus vouchers and trainings. So this all will be considered as a bundle of package. So this all Microsoft 365 certification, and we will be sharing you all this details via email. You can have a look. So if anybody is interested, you can reach your concerned person, either L&D person or the HR managers. So they will be having all my contact details. They can reach us directly for the any kind of assessment. So hope we will be looking forward to work with you in a nearest days. So we'll be sharing you all these handouts and attendance and everything. And feedback is something very important, and this is something a survey. We have to show the capability of us, and we have to build a relationship with your organization and with you people. And so that's the reason this feedback is something very important, requesting all the participants to submit this feedback. And thank you so much, and pleasure having you all in this session. And thanks for your valuable time spending with us on this learning. Thank you so much. And kindly fill this feedback form before leaving the session. Thank you. Jitu, you want to add anything here?
yeah, Sugandhi, thank you for the great presentation. Guys, one correction. By today EOD, you will be receiving the vouchers and you'll be getting a one book, a small PDF, which will show you how to redeem that particular voucher. So you'll be getting that today, end of the day, and by Monday you'll be getting remaining everything. That is the video link, that is the certificate, and the PPTs which we have shown over here. That all will be given to you by Monday itself. Is that fine for everyone? Please acknowledge quickly. Great. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Great. So Sugandhi, even I'm done from my end.
And guys, if you're looking for any training sessions, you can definitely reach out to your L&D managers or specific HR heads who can directly connect us to give you a better session for any other training sessions in the future. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah. Thank you all once again. A special thanks to Jitu for this wonderful session. Thank you all for joining once again. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye bye. Take care.